This tutorial is going to introduce you to cuddle.xyz, which is one of my favorite tools these days for working in a makerspace or a classroom and learning through creating and making. It will create vectorized SVG cut files. So you'll want to go to cuddle.xyz and you'll log in. I am going to log in with my Google account, create, make, learn. We're going to be creating something that looks like this. It's a hanger, little hanger with a constellation. In our case, our tutorial will focus on the Big Dipper. Let's get started. You're going to want to create on new blank project. And you'll notice that there are shapes along the left-hand side. We'll be working with these. We're going to click on the circle shape and we're going to drag it out. I usually drop it somewhere in the middle. And you'll notice it's 1 inch. I'm going to change that to 3 inches and it will change it all around. This created a layer on the side called Circle 1. If you scroll down, you will notice that there is a word that says fill and stroke. Circle 1 does not have a fill, so I would like it to have a fill or a color. So I'm going to put a little check mark there. I don't want the color to be to be gray. I want it to be like a dark blue. So once I put the check mark there, I will get a little rectangle with the color, and I'm going to change that, click on it, and I'll change it to a blue. The stroke was already on for me. I would like to change the stroke color, which is the outline, the outside border of this shape, to blue also. And there's my first shape. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to drag another shape to make a little hanger here, like a circle hanger with a hole for the string to pass through. So I'm going to drag over a shape like this. And this is 1 inch. Let me make it a 1/2 inch. 0.5, double click on 1 inch and make that a 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to drag this over and kind of drop it on the top there so it can become part of the little circle, can become part of the big circle. Notice in the layers it says circle 2 and circle 1. I'm going to take circle 2 and I'm going to click on it in the layer area, and I am going to hold the Control or Command key down, depending on if you're using a Mac or a Chromebook or a PC, so that when I hold the Control and click on the second circle, I will have both of them selected. Important not to drag them. Students tend to want to drag instead of, let me show you that again. Click on one, let go, hold the Command or Control key down, click on the other. Students tend to want to drag. Have them practice not dragging because that will mess up their layers. Once they're both selected, I'm going to go to Modify, and I'm going to click on Boolean Union. It also says weld on the side. Boolean Union. When I click on that, notice what happens. Both shapes get welded or united together into a group. On the right-hand side, you will see Group 1, Circle 2, and Circle 1. I'm going to rename Group 1. Double-click on it. And when you double-click on it, you can change the name. And I'm going to call this 2 circles for now. The other thing that you'll want to do is to practice with students expanding and collapsing layers. When there's a little, it's hard to see, arrow here, like a drop down, if I click on it, it collapses the layers. They're still there, but you just don't see them. And then if I click on it again, it expands it so you see what the two circle is made out of. So I'm going to collapse that and expand it a few times with students. Then have them collapse it. And that's so they don't accidentally drag their layers and mix them all up. Again, I'm noticing that neither fill nor stroke are set. I'm going to click on fill, make sure it says blue, and that the stroke also says blue for this two circle shape. Now, if we want the string to pass through, we need a little hole here. So you guessed it, we're going to draw another circle. So drag that out. And I'm going to click here, and I'm going to call that, I'm going to change the size to 0.25, quarter of an inch. It will change it in both places. I'm going to drag this out here and kind of drop it in the middle. And notice in my case, it called it circle 3. So I'm going to click on circle 3 in the layers, select it, and also select the two circles. Once they're both selected, I'm going to come over here and do modify. But this time, I am not going to do Boolean union. I'm going to do Boolean difference. I want to cut out or subtract out the middle circle. I'm going to choose Boolean difference. And voila, the little circle is cut out. Notice on the right-hand side, now we have group 1. And then we have group 1 is made out of our circle 3 and our two circles. I'm going to suggest that you collapse so you don't see what it's made of and accidentally drag those around. I'm going to suggest that you double click on group 1, and this is going to be our outside cut hanger. So we're going to cut all this out into a little hanger. Now we want to make some stars. So to make our stars, notice that there's actually a star shape. If you wanted, you could pick that star shape and drag it out. And as far as the size for this star shape, I'm thinking that I want it pretty small. I'm going to try 0.15. There's a nice star here, that's 0.15. And I would like that star to be yellow. So again, remember that we scroll down. We're going to click on star 1. We're going to go and click on the fill. And we don't want it to be gray. We want it to be yellow. And I'm going to actually make a little red stroke for this one. Just notice the stroke is black. Right underneath stroke, I'm going to change that from black to red. And the reason I want some different stroke colors is that it will help me control the order that things get cut out on our Cricut Maker or our laser cutter. So now we have one star. We could drag it out here. But we might also want, looking at the size, you could make it a little bit bigger, but I'm just going to click on it, leave it that size. And when I click on it once, I right click and hit duplicate. You can also copy and paste. I want 7 different stars. And the reason I want 7 different stars is because I want them to look like the Big Dipper. Let's take a look at our Big Dipper. Here it is, and notice I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different stars. I suggest that you come over here and you right click, and again you can copy and paste, but there's a duplicate function. I'm going to hit duplicate, And every time I hit duplicate, it creates a copy of that star. And I need 7 of them. I can also hit Command or Control D. The copy will always be on top, so you have to drag them out. And I want to drag them out so they sort of look like the Big Dipper. And there's our Big Dipper. Now the next thing that I did was I want to select all these and group them. So I click on star 1 and I go all the way up and hold the shift down. Don't drag. Click on it and let go. Then hold the shift down and then click on star 7 and that will select all 7 stars. Notice they're all yellow and have a red border. I'm going to right click on this blue selection and hit group. And now my group 1 is made up of 7 stars. I want to rename that group. I'll double click on it and hit stars. That's the whole group. And I'm going to collapse. Remember that little down arrow? Up and down arrow? Now I have a constellation and I have my hanger and I'm ready to export and send it to the laser cutter. Oops, Untitled Project is not a great name. I'll double click on Untitled Project and call this Big Dipper. And we're going to go to File and I'm going to hit Export SVG. It will export it as a vector file, which is an SVG. There's a drop-down arrow here that changes different file types. I want to keep it on SVG. There's another drop-down arrow that changes it from standard or Glowforge or Cricut preferences. If you have a Glowforge or a Cricut preference, you might want to choose to optimize for those devices, or you can leave it on standard SVG. Hit download, and now you have a Big Dipper file in your download folder, and you'll follow whatever workflow your classroom or makerspace uses to get it to the laser cutter or the Cricut cutter. You've just made your first SVG vector cut file using Cuddle.